everyone. If you don't already know me, my name is Brian Knight. I'm a weight loss coach and I help busy dads to reach their weight loss goals. And so I got a great topic today, the top 5 ways to lose weight. Plain and simple. I just I was thinking about this, and I just wanted to put it out there. The thing that I teach my clients on when they want results fast, this is what you should do. It's more complicated than that, but here it is. So, number one, reduce your carbs. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit because a lot of people they think that the lower the carbs, the better, and that's not necessarily true. It really depends on your body type. A lot if you're a young male and you're very active and everything, you're going to need some carbs. It's almost counterintuitive, especially if you go for a long time, to go on zero carbs if you're that active. But if you carry a lot of excess body fat and you don't move very much and you sit at your job all day, the lower carbs is probably going to be a good thing for you. So you really have to just pick what works for you. And that could be anywhere from 0 to 150, but you have to just kind of figure out what that is. So it's not as simple as the lower you go that it's going to help you any. Sometimes having carbs in your diet will actually make you feel better and make you more vibrant, make a lot of other things work better, make your mental clarity better. Just wanted to throw that out there. And then next, number 2, restrict your eating window. So this is very similar to intermittent fasting. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's where a restricted time during the day, maybe like 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, it can be different things, is the only window that you eat, and the rest of the time you don't eat. And that works very well for a lot of people. So just like for me, I start eating at 10 a.m. and then I finish eating around 6 p.m. And that works well for me. And a lot of people they'll get a lot of results from that. And then during that time, they'll eat whatever they want. And that'll work for them. That'll be enough. Now, when they get low enough and the weight loss stops, they may have to put some other tools from here in their toolbox and start implementing those to start seeing results again. Number 3, up your activity. Well, that's limitless. I mean, you can do walking, you can do ellipticals, you can do some sprints. There's all kinds of things you can do. And you can do it in your daily life where you're interacting with your kids or taking them to the park or counting your steps on your app or whatever you're using, your watch. So that's the way you can up your activity. Restrict your calories. Now, this is another situation where going lower is not necessarily better, especially over an extended period of time. I hear of these stories where people will do 1,200 calories consistently. Now, in most cases, you are not getting your body enough nutrients for it to stay healthy, and it just will not be something that's sustainable over the long term. So, and if you're restricting your calories, you need the most nutrient dense food in your diet. You cannot be having Cheetos or something like that and expecting that to have enough nutrients at that calorie level. For one thing, that's not going to satiate you, so you're going to be hungry as can be. What you want to do is you want to have meat, you want to have ground beef, organs, you want to have very nutrient dense food in your diet if you're going to restrict your calories. And so it's just a fine line that definitely I would suggest that you have some expert help if you want to go that route. Keep your stress in check. So I was really just kind of sitting down and thinking, so what else could I, would be important? And, for multiple reasons, keeping your stress, because honestly, if you're stressed out, none of this other stuff will work. That's an important point. So that's why I felt the need to include this in here. So what do I mean by keeping your stress in check? And I'm sure there's some things I'll miss, but there's at least 5 that came to my mind. Make sure that your thyroid is healthy. Now that's not just as simple as getting a TSH. And honestly, I've heard over and over a TSH is not that great of a test. So you need to make sure that your T3, T4, all of that is in check, and that your thyroid is running well, and that you don't have adrenal fatigue or adrenal burnout. Also, you need to make sure your sleep's in check. Make sure that you're getting a quality sleep at night, that you're being intentional about going to bed at a decent time, and that you're sleeping throughout the night. That's another thing, because honestly, if you're not getting good sleep, it's going to play havoc on your adrenals and your thyroid, and your body is just not going to be primed to want to lose weight. It's going to be in survival mode. And mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness basically is taking a little bit of time throughout the day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. The longer the better. Not too long. You got other things to do. But just being mindful to focus in on your breathing and taking some time for yourself. Throughout the day, we are past and present. Past and future focus. We're thinking about what just happened, and we're thinking about what we're getting ready to do. But we're not zoning in on the present moment and taking a little bit of time for ourselves to think about the present moment. Relaxing. What do I mean by relaxing? I don't mean just doing nothing. Taking some time to read a book. Taking some time to not watching TV. Taking some time to be with your children. Be outside. Go for a walk. Go to the park. Be with your children. Taking some time to talk with your spouse about dreams, things that you want to have happen, processing each other's day. That can be, for the most part, relaxing. So, just taking that extra time to relax with them. And, thinking about your thoughts. And what do I mean by that? Something stressful may have happened to you today, or maybe somebody gave you a dirty look. And, what are you thinking about that? And what do I mean by thinking about that? In other words, what are you making that mean? You have control over your thoughts. You have control over what somebody may have done to you. You don't have control over what somebody else does, but you do have control over how you think about it. So just let that sink in. I'm going to be doing more videos on that because that's kind of tough to see, but you do have control over how you're thinking about what other people are doing to you, or what you're perceiving they're thinking about something. So just to get to these up here, more is not always better. We talked about that with more or less is not always better, reducing your carbs or restricting your calories. So restricting more is not always better. Having lower carb is not always better. You have to find what's right for your body type. And that can be challenging. And if you need more support around that, feel free to reach out to me and set up sign up for a free call with me. Start slow. Don't try to do all 5 of these at once. Start with one and go from there. I guarantee you'll get results with just one, but work on that, because if you try to implement too many at one time, it's going to get overwhelming. Or if you get derailed or come up against obstacles, you're just going to binge or just be like, well, I give up. And so start with one. Know your why. Know why you are doing this. Why are you trying to lose weight? Why are you trying to reach your goals? Know your why. And honestly, I would write that all over the place. so that you can be reminded about it when times get tough. Get support, whether that's from a friend who supports you, friend or family member, or your spouse, or a support group. I have a Facebook group where I help busy dads to lose weight. I have the link in the notes, so check that out. Get around others who are on the same journey as you and can support you in a positive way. If you don't have any of those, feel free to reach out to me and we can talk about how we can get you to your goals. So you can find me at brianjknight.com or send me a direct message on Facebook. I'm very easy to find. And so I hope that you found value here. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.